Perfect. So we'll just go ahead and get started and people can come in as they do. If people come in and I'm like in the middle of speaking, you guys help remind people to sign in here. That would be great. Okay. So this is kind of what we're going to talk about today. So basically the point of these meetings, this is the first semester that we're doing these pre-departure meetings, like requiring for our outgoing students. But we're doing this so that we can kind of check in with you at certain points throughout the process and also to give you the chance to meet other students who are going abroad because you're not necessarily going to the same places, but you have kind of a shared experience of like preparing to go abroad. So it could be helpful too to have each other's contact information and be able to kind of just talk about like, hey, like, how's it going with this? Like, what did you do for this? So anyway, we'll just kind of talk through kind of where you should be at right now and what you should expect now. And then at our next meeting, do the same thing. So you're not feeling like overwhelmed by, all these forms you have to fill out and you kind of know like where you should be at this point in the process. Because we have had students in the past like that maybe 3 weeks before their program, we find out they didn't have housing or haven't signed up for courses. So we just want to make sure that you're kind of sitting on top of those things since now you're kind of working directly with your host or provider, program provider. And so I don't necessarily know where you're at in the process unless you touch base with me. So what we'll talk about today, we'll just like have everyone introduce themselves. And then we did have a student who was going to come who studied abroad last spring. I don't know if she'll be here or not, so we'll see. If not, then that's okay. We'll just breeze past that. And then I can tell you about my study abroad experience, maybe, but it's been a while, so I don't know if it hits home as much as a student who just got back. But I'll talk to you about the application process, your second application that you'll have to fill out, billing processes, and then I'll show you the pre-departure forms. I think all of you have been I've met with all of you at various times, so I think all of you are familiar with the portal and have seen the forms, but just in case, I'll pull that up and show you kind of what forms to expect. The first ones you'll want to think about are passport and visa forms, so we'll talk about that. And then just what to expect from your program host or the provider company that you're going through. So, first of all, just congratulations for being accepted to study abroad and for making this decision to go abroad because it's not a small thing, really. Like, you can see you're the only 3 students in this room. We're expecting a few more, but not everybody does this because, it is kind of, a leap that you're taking to go and study in another country, and you have to kind of go through these processes of getting a passport if you don't have one, booking flights and getting visas, studying in a completely different academic system. And so it'll be a really great experience, but you are very brave, for taking this leap and deciding to go on this opportunity. So I am proud of all of you for even taking this step now. But basically I just wanted to show you kind of some key benefits of study abroad. So the academic impact, like immediately that we see from students studying abroad from studies that have been done. Students who study abroad tend to have a higher GPA and complete their degrees faster than students who don't study abroad. And then they also have increased graduation rates within 4 to 6 years. So we see students just graduating sooner if they have studied abroad. And then the career advantage of study abroad. So 70% of 97% of study abroad alumni have been reported to be employed within 12 months of graduation. So that's really great. They also tend to earn 25% higher salaries than their peers. And then these opportunities build skills in teamwork, adaptability, and problem solving. And then personal growth. This will expand your personal network. And so that could be personal connections that could lead to, friendships where you might be able to go and visit people abroad, or it could lead into professional connections later on. That could even, open the door to professional opportunities abroad as well. So that's really great. It'll enhance your cultural awareness and resilience, and then prepares you to be an active global citizen. So not just thinking about, our community here, but the global community and how you can be involved in that. So if I can have you all share a little bit about yourself, just share your name, where you're from, where you're going, and one thing you are most excited about or curious about for your study abroad program or destination that you're going to. So I can start just by introducing myself. I have met all of you, but I'm Aven, and I'm from Ashland, Missouri, if you've ever heard of it. It's between Jeff City and Columbia, Missouri. So it's a small town. It's like 3,000 people. And so I am not currently studying abroad, but I did study abroad when I was a student in Costa Rica, in like a Spanish language immersion program. So that changed my life. I mean, that's why I'm here today in this position, because really like I believe in these opportunities and that they change you as a person. And it'll help you like in so many areas of your life going forward. Um, and one thing I guess that I was excited about when I was studying abroad was, I mean, really like improving my Spanish. That was like kind of my main reason for going, was so that I could like actually speak, because I felt like I had taken 4 years of Spanish in high school and I was a Spanish major here. And I felt like I could read and write and listen, but I didn't feel like I could speak just because I was so nervous, I guess, to make a mistake. But then once I was actually there, I mean, then I was able to, I mean, have a conversation, because you don't need to worry so much about speaking perfectly. It's just if they can understand you and you can say what you want to say, then that's what you need to do. So I think that's what I was most excited about. And the food, because I love food. So okay, so then if we can start, let's start with Katie.
Katie Moore. I am from Sikeston, Missouri. I will be studying in Scotland. And one thing I'm most excited about is probably trying to get a picture of my Highland cow.
Yes. They are cute. Do you know that one of our faculty members on campus has a Highland cow in like in I think in Benton, Missouri or something?
I don't need to visit.
So you might be able to visit one here too. But anyway, he has a farm called Mesta Meadows, and it's actually like, yeah, it's like a business.
Cow.
There, yeah, yes, yeah, Dr. Curley, exactly. Yeah, he has Mesta Meadows and he has a Highland cow, and it's like this. I actually got to see it whenever we had a group of students visiting from Denmark. We took them there and they got to meet the Highland cow, and I got to pet it, and it was very cute.
There's like they host like a festival there or something.
Yes.
Something like that, and like you can, it's open to everybody. You can go and visit.
Yeah, I don't know when that. Do you know when that is?
Spring.
Something.
Right. I'm like, so she won't be here. But when you get back, if you feel nostalgic for cows. Yeah. And then I think his farm is like open to the public on Saturdays, maybe, or something. Yeah. But anyway.
We'll find one.
Yeah.
We'll find one.
Yes. Okay. And Ryan?
My name is Ryan. I'm from Cape, and I am studying in London. And the most thing that I'm excited about is meeting people.
Yeah.
That's what, and also like learning. So think about doing a master's there. So like learning.
Oh, cool.
Like they do psychology there.
Right.
It benefit me.
Yeah. Yeah, learning what that application process is like and the program and stuff. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Cool. And you?
My name is Grace Rogers. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. We're closer to like Benton, Sunset Hills area, not in the city. That really scares me. I'm studying abroad in Tokyo, Japan. I'm super excited. I've already been there one time for a couple of weeks. I'm going back for a semester now. So I've got ties to it.
Yes.
Excited for is probably a career opportunity. There's a lot of entertainment over there, and I would like to be a backup dancer for stage performances. So I'd love to see what opportunities they have there. I'm going to be interning at a venue, working with local artists, so hopefully I can do connections.
That's so cool. Yeah. And Grace is one of our first CMO students to do one of the internship programs abroad. So that's also very exciting. Yes. So, and then we'll see if Trinae comes in to talk about her experience later, then that would be wonderful. But if not, she will be presenting at our Study Abroad panel event. We'll have a Study Abroad panel event on November 5th. If any of you are available and want to like come and hear other students' experiences, actually Grace will be presenting about her short-term program that she went on in Japan. And then we'll have some students presenting about their experiences on exchange programs to Germany, like Trinae, a student presenting about her program in Norway. And then we are tentatively going to have a student presenting about her experience in Puerto Rico as well. So that would be a really good time to ask other students who have done this before, like kind of what the process was like for them, and just hear from their perspective and stuff. So that's a really great event every year. But I'll just go ahead and move on to the application process. So you've already started this, so you've already been accepted at SEMO, so that's kind of your first step. Now I think you're all in the process of step 2, so applying and being nominated to your host institution. So Grace is doing CIEE, right? CIEE, yes. So you've already applied directly on their website, so that's great. You should be good to go. Then with you two, you'll be nominated. So basically after you're accepted, then I'll be nominating you to your host institution. Ryan, I think you've already gotten through that step, and now you've already filled out your second application, right? Perfect. And then with UWS, we're in the process of that since we're kind of just finalizing that agreement with them right now. The program that Katie is doing is actually a new partnership as well in Scotland. So she'll be our first SEMO student to go and study at this university in Scotland. So that's also really cool. We have some trailblazers here today, but anyway, so that since we're in the process of finalizing that agreement, it's taking a little bit longer, but you should have that step completed by October 15th at the latest, I would say. So step 3 then is confirming that your status has changed. So you should have started in a conditionally approved status. Then after conditional approval, then you'll move to nominated, to indicate that, we have communicated to your host institution and they have agreed to accept you as a student, basically, as long as you go through their procedures. And so if you see by October 15th that you're still in the conditionally approved status, reach out to me and let me know. Because it could be that I missed something, or maybe I just forgot to update your status. So just reach out to me to let me know, so that, you're moving through the process at the right kind of timeline. But everybody should be updated to nominated by October 15th. And then after that, basically after you're nominated, then you'll be working directly with the host institution or the provider, CIEE. And so at that time, I won't necessarily know kind of where you're at in the process. So I'll need you to kind of stay on top of your forms in the portal. The forms in our portal are set like at varying deadlines, depending when your program starts, to kind of keep you on track. So like everyone's passport forms are due October 15th, but everything after that is a little bit different depending on when your program starts, so that we make sure you're getting kind of those steps completed before those dates that our forms are. So that helps us track, but it is also helpful if you're getting close to the form deadline and you haven't gotten the information you need to be able to fill out that form, that's how you'll know that, maybe you haven't received the information you need from the host institution by the time that you should be. So reach out to me at that point, and let me know if you don't have the information that you need basically to fill out the forms. So now I just want to go over like billing processes. It is a little bit different for each program type. So we have today, for Grace's program, you're on a CIEE program, so you'll be billed by SEMO for that. So the only thing that CIEE should have billed you for is the application itself. I think that's the only fee they should be billing you for. Yes.
So the application fee was like $50, which is normal.
Okay.
But then they have a information fee, which is $300. I'm like, so why do I need to pay you to confirm that I've submitted a
That's interesting. Okay, I actually didn't know. I wonder if they include that in the overall price. Maybe if you can send that, could you forward? Do you have an email about that?
It's in I can pull it up. It's in the
Okay.
CIE portal and it's part of what I have left to fill out.
Okay.
Because I got that first, obviously mine was due October 1st. So
Right.
I got that submitted and they were like, you've been approved. Here's some
Okay.
more things to fill out. But they don't have a due date on them necessarily. So I'm like,
Okay. So it's
just kind of there. And
in
I'm
the
like,
abyss. Okay. Yeah.
what am I paying you
Interesting.
for?
I wasn't aware of that fee. So maybe if you could take a screenshot and send it to me so that I can touch base with them and find out what that is, or if it should be something we're billing, included in the total.
Contacted me about it and I was like, what? How do you want me to pay for this one? And she was like, just use the my card. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And she's like, you ask for study.
Yeah. Hold
So
off
I'm
on
like,
paying. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's why I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, I would wait because we did just start working with CIE within the last 2 years as well. And so we've set up our billing agreement with them that they're supposed to send us invoices for student programs, but we did have a situation with a student who was going last year that they tried to bill that student directly instead of sending the bill to us. So that's, it's more beneficial if we can bill you, because then you can use your scholarships and financial aid, and then you can use the installment plan to help pay and all of that. So definitely if you could send me a screenshot, and then I'll follow up with them to see if that's really something you need to pay them directly, or if that should be included in your like overall bill with the rest of it. So yeah, we should be billing you if for anyone who's doing CIE or AIFS programs. It'll just be like a one-time charge that includes like kind of everything besides your out-of-pocket costs. Right. And so yeah. And then if you had any scholarships, that would apply directly to like reduce the price. So you wouldn't necessarily see the scholarship like reflected in your account, but it'll basically just be a reduced price with that scholarship, applied. So that's how the CIE and AIFS programs work. I'll touch on the exchange programs, even though none of you are doing exchange programs per se. But since we have some that'll be watching this back, for exchange programs, how those work is basically we will bill the students for tuition. So they'll be billed tuition through us, and then all other costs will be billed directly by the host institution. So there might be some program fees or housing costs that they have to pay directly there. But tuition will be billed by us, and then anything excess, like if they had aid or scholarships that exceeds the amount that we're charging for tuition, they would get the rest as a refund that could help pay other costs that they're paying directly to the provider or the host institution. So then for direct enroll programs, which would be where you two fall, for UWS and Roehampton, those programs you'll be billed directly by the host institution. And so you will have a discounted price because of our partnership agreement with them. And so I think it's 15 or 20% off of the regular tuition rate. So just make sure, I won't see your bill for those programs. So you'll want to kind of make sure that they are applying that discount for you as a partner, institution. If you need my help to, if you run into any billing issues, you can always reach out to me and I can help kind of coordinate with their university. But you will kind of have to work with them directly on billing. And then you will still be enrolled. So all of our students, regardless of what type of program you're in, you'll be enrolled in a GE 350 study abroad placeholder course here at SEMA while you're abroad. That'll be for the number of credit hours that you're taking, or like, the US equivalent of the number of credit hours you're taking abroad. And then that will allow you to use your scholarships and financial aid to help pay for the program. So even though you're going to be paying the institution directly abroad, we'll have you enrolled in that placeholder, but it won't have any like charge. So, so you won't be billed for those credit hours, basically. You'll just be in that course. So you'll see that on your like degree works that you're in GE 350. But it won't have any charge with it. So that allows us to issue your financial aid scholarships to you directly as like a refund, basically. And then you'll use that refund to pay directly to the universities abroad. Any questions about billing? Okay, perfect. So then pre-departure forms, I mentioned this a little bit, but you will have, numerous forms to fill out in your study abroad portal. The ones I'm talking about right now are just our pre-departure forms for SEMO. So you will have other probably pre-departure requirements that you'll have to complete for the host institution. So those are important as well. And I would say put priority on whatever the host or the provider is asking you to do, because we can be flexible with our deadlines, but they may not be able to. And I can't necessarily ask them to extend a deadline for you if you miss it. But I can extend our deadlines typically. So if you need more time for any of our forms, I can do that. But make sure you're prioritizing your host institution's requirements first. So ours are more just, like I said, to keep you on track and make sure you know that you're in the right point of the process, and help us track you as well to make sure that, everyone is where they need to be. So your first form will be the passport form, due on October 15th. And then, like I mentioned before, all of your deadlines will vary depending on when your start date is of your program. I think all of you are starting in January. Is that right? Yeah. So you'll all be around the same time for deadlines. But for everyone else, their deadlines will vary. And then if you need guidance on like passports, do all of you have passports? Awesome. Okay, good. So then we're good there, but there is guidance for passports in the portal, and then visas as well, like some helpful links on your program. So I can pull that up to show you. And one of the forms I want to mention too is the travel insurance enrollment form. wait until you've heard from your host institution, whether they require any particular insurance, because some universities or countries require an insurance. Like I believe Japan requires like a national insurance, and CIE typically has a travel insurance for students. So some providers or host institutions will require a certain type of insurance for you. If they do, then we would waive our travel insurance requirement for you. You could just enroll in their insurance. But so you'll want to make sure you have that information from the host institution before you fill out that form for us, so that we don't enroll you in both and then you have to pay for two insurances. So let me pull up the portal actually to show you, in case I know all of you have found the forms, but in case there's anyone watching back who doesn't know where to find the forms. You go into the portal. It's been slow the last couple of days, so bear with me. And I'm gonna switch to traveler view so you can see like the student view. So when you log into the portal, it'll look like this. And then once it loads, under my programs, you'll see, you might see multiple programs if you've applied to multiple programs in the past, or if you've started applications to multiple programs. But you can see like what the status of each of those is. So if you'll see one like here, this one is conditionally approved. So that's the program I'm doing, right? So I'm going to Roehampton. So if I click this open view details, that'll take you to kind of your program page. So then you can see your application that you filled out here. And then here is where you can find all of your pre-departure forms to fill out with all the deadlines listed. So this is probably what all of your deadlines are for these forms. And then everyone else will have varying deadlines for these based on their program start. So the passport information form is here. For any students who need guidance on, passport information, you can click open the view program, go to your program page. This is like where you applied. And then under the About Program tab, this is where you can find like passport guidance and visa guidance under this section here. So here's links on where to apply, how to apply for passports, and then here are instructions for visas as well. But I will say this kind of gets you started with guidance on the visa process, but I would also wait until you hear from your host institution on visa guidance, because they will be likely sending you guidance on that as well. And what they recommend in terms of visa preparation and all of that. So this will help you kind of, start thinking about what you need to do, but wait until you receive that official acceptance from the host institution before you get started with any of the visa application. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you in our portal there. So those are some important forms to be thinking about right now in the process. And then in our next meeting, we'll kind of talk about the rest forms of like going down the line. But yeah, right now I'll be thinking about passport form, visa form, and then travel insurance enrollment form. And then whenever you are connected with your host institution or provider, which Grace and Ryan, you should already be in touch with your host institutions. And then Katie, you will be soon, as soon as we get your nomination finalized. So your host university will most likely email you directly to your CMO account. They'll send you, the second application that you need to fill out, or I might send that to you directly if they share that with me first to share with you. But there'll be a second application for you to fill out. After you fill out their application, that's typically the first step to fill out their application so they can admit you as a student there. And recognize that you're going to be a visiting student. After you're admitted, then they'll send you the guidance on visas and any other pre-departure form requirements they have for you. They'll send you housing information and meal plans if they have any, or just information about, whether they have, kitchens and how they recommend doing kind of meals for students. And then they'll send you course enrollment instructions along with orientation details if they have an international student orientation. Which most institutions have at least a 1-week orientation before classes start. So look out for that. And then they should also be sending you like recommended arrival and departure dates so that, you should have that information before you're booking flights to go abroad. So I would wait until you have their recommended, flight dates, because they potentially, like a lot of institutions will provide airport pickup, but only on select dates if they're, on their recommended dates. That's what we do here for our incoming exchange students. So we say if you fly into St. Louis or Cape Girardeau on these dates, we can pick you up. If you don't, then you're on your own. So that's most likely how it'll work with your host institutions. So don't book any flights until you have that information, and then your visa as well, I would say, if you need a visa for your program. And if you haven't received any of these details at least 3 months before your program departs, which where are we now? It's like October. 3 months. I mean, it's okay. We'll say 2 to 3 months. I think this is more for fall, 3 months, but in spring it's a little bit of a shorter window anyway. So you should be fine if I'd say, let's say 2 months out. If you haven't received these details, let me know. Ideally like 2 to 3 months out is great. So you have enough time to prepare everything. So just let me know if you haven't received these details, definitely by our next meeting. If you don't have this information, let me know. And then I can help following up and make sure that they have you on their radar, because, there's sometimes whatever happens, like I think last year we nominated a student through, like, they have a nomination system we have to nominate through. And for whatever reason, when we nominated them, I guess their system was going through like an update or something. And then they said they had received it at the time, but then like a week later, since they did this update, I think all of their nomination information like disappeared or something. And so then that student didn't get any information until like 3 weeks out. He told me, oh, I haven't gotten any details from the university, but I'm like already here. And then I was like, oh no. So then I reached out and they said, whatever had happened with their system, they didn't have his information for some reason. So anyway, it is important that you let me know if you're not getting this information, by the next meeting for sure. And our next meeting is October 29th. So at that meeting, we'll talk more about like housing, visa, and course enrollment, because you'll kind of be at that point probably by that time. For now, like, don't necessarily worry about the course enrollment. I know some of you have already been very proactive and maybe have already talked with department chairs, and that's awesome. But right now I would focus more on kind of just getting your applications filled out and getting admitted to your host institution. And then by our next meeting, start thinking about housing, visa, and course enrollment, and we'll go over that process at the time. So that's the end actually of what I wanted to share today. So it's a little shorter than expected since we didn't have our return student to present about her experience. But again, if you want to hear about her experience, she'll be presenting on the 5th of November at the UC. So we have time for questions now. If any of you have questions, yeah.
So for Roehampton's application, their due date is the 31st of this month, which
Okay.
I've already done
Very
with
good.
that application.
Mhm.
But I guess since I'll be submitting it way before the actual due date, should I expect to hear back from them sooner than that due date, or it's
You may not. So England, you don't need, like, I think you actually don't need a visa for England. It's a residence permit. So-
the
Yeah,
6 month stay.
right. So you should be really fine. It's more, we say 3 months out more for programs where you have to apply for visas. So I wouldn't worry. I think probably most institutions, they'll send like all of their students the information at once. So they might wait until after the application deadline has closed to send to everyone. So I wouldn't worry too much if you haven't received it until their application closes, because they might be planning to reach out to everyone at that time. But if you don't receive something within, like, I don't know, 2 weeks of that deadline, maybe let me know, and then I could follow up. So, but yeah, I would say, yeah, that's a good question though, since their deadline is the 31st. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer for them to reach out to you after that closes. So, any other questions?
Registration here, I think I got an email back from whatever his name is.
Hey.
The guy with the professional studies,
Oh, yes.
because that was.
Yes, actually,
Everything.
yeah, we were emailing about you recently. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Pace emailed me about
Yes, and
your
I think
situation.
in the email that I got back from them, it said like, we will enroll you in blah, blah, blah here or
Mhm.
something. So like, do I need to worry about registration here, like by the due date this spring?
No, yeah, that's a good question too. Yeah, you all won't need to enroll yourselves for the spring semester. We'll enroll you on your behalf. So yeah, we'll enroll you based on there's another form that you'll fill out in the portal that actually you won't see yet, but there's like an application or academic interest form that you'll fill out just to say like how many credit hours you're planning to take abroad, and we'll use that information to enroll you in that number of credit hours. If that changes later, that's okay. We can adjust the amount later. But for what you're planning, like if you're planning to do 12, we'll enroll you in 12 now. If you change to 15, we can bump you up to 15 later. But yeah, we'll make sure you're enrolled. So you don't have to worry about the registration process. You will just need to make sure you fill out the forms that say which courses you're planning to take. Because then later we'll send that off to your department chairs to get the approval for the course equivalencies for the courses you're taking. And we'll talk more in detail about that process kind of at our next meeting, but I can answer questions about it now if you have burning questions. Yes.
So like the spring semester, that's my last semester.
Yes.
How would, I know I'd have to apply for graduation for here still.
Yeah.
How would that, do you know how that would look? Since like their semester goes a month long after
Right.
ours.
Yeah. So you'll have to apply for summer graduation. I think we had talked about this maybe over the summer. But you'll have to apply for a summer graduation, because your semester ends in June, right?
Yeah.
So the degree posting deadline for May would be like the end 3 weeks past commencement date. So like around May 29th, I think is the deadline to receive transcripts for students that want to graduate by the spring semester. But if you apply for summer graduation, as long as we receive your transcripts from Roehampton by like mid-July, then you should be fine. And then you would have your degree by, I don't know exactly when that deadline or when you receive it for summer, but I think it's by the end of July or August, beginning of August that you would receive it. So it'll be summer graduation. And then if you have questions like how to apply for that, I would reach out to the registrar or to the graduation people. I forget what their email is. Yeah. Yeah. But I can always help. There are sometimes questions like other offices might have questions for me about it, or they might not necessarily understand like what your program is. So if you get confused by the response or anything like that, you can always copy me on something or forward something to me, and then I can help communicate too with the other offices if you run into issues. Yeah. Hopefully you don't. But yes. But in case you do, you can always forward things to me and then I can help communicate and coordinate things. So good question. Yeah. Okay.
So, since I'm not going to be like the program going, going to Scotland, whatever.
Right.
Is it like, are we allowed to like go early on dime, whatever?
Yeah.
And do a little sightseeing and then go?
Yeah. Of course. Yes, you would be. Yeah. Totally allowed to do that. You'll just want to, like keep in mind visa restrictions and things like that of like, whenever you're like, whatever your duration is that you're allowed to stay, keep that in mind whenever you're thinking of travel dates. And then probably wait to book anything until, you've received information from them about, when their orientation is and all that. So you make sure you're not planning any personal travel during required dates for them. But yeah, for sure. You can plan to, travel before or after the program ends or anything.
And not to get on the platform.
Of course. Yes. No, I would encourage you to travel. Yeah, before or after your program if you have the time. I mean, you might have some time during the program as well if there's breaks or weekends, but it's good to spend some more time on your own.
I can just take the train to
right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, public transportation in Europe and I mean Japan, like almost every country is like so much better than here. So so you will definitely have opportunities to travel and it'll be much easier than like here where you have to book like a charter bus to get anywhere. So yes.
Don't do like if CIE provides it, like
yes.
Do I just not fill out the form?
So still fill out the form, but like when I'll open the form so you see what you'll do. Yes.
Don't, try and pay
like how to fill it. No, exactly. Yeah, we don't want you to have to pay for both for sure. And we would enroll you if you fill it out and indicate that you want our insurance. So we don't want to run into that. But if you open this form, this is what it looks like. So then scrolling down to the bottom, you'll enter your host institutions and then here, travel insurance.
Yeah.
You can either select like our insurance, which is $1.57 per day, or the alternate plan required by your host institution or sponsoring program. So this is what you would select for CIE since they will provide insurance for you. And then we'll find out for you if, for both of you, whether your institution is requiring any insurance, which I don't think they do. So most likely you'll be enrolled in our travel insurance. But do wait to hear back from them to confirm because, you know, they could always change requirements and things like that from the past. So definitely we don't want you to have to pay for 2 different insurances. So if you don't need ours, yeah, you just select this option. If you need ours, you'll select this and then fill in your signature here. And we would enroll you about a month before your program so that you'll be getting your insurance card at least 2 weeks before you depart. And it'll just be digital. So you'll just want to probably download the insurance card and then have it with you and maybe share with like an emergency contact at home as well, just in case. So any other questions? Okay. Well, reach out to me if you do have questions. Right now, I am very behind on emails right now, I will say, because you might have all gotten this email about the Italy program over winter break. And after I sent that out, I'm like bombarded with emails. So I am very behind on my emails. So I will say if you email me, it might take me a week or 2 to get back to you. But if you need a reply pretty soon, just schedule an appointment with me on SupportNet, and that would be the quickest way to get in with me because I have my calendar open, so you can schedule with me like the next day. As long as that time frame, you know, that I have open fits for your schedule. We can meet like, even if it's just a small question, we can meet for like 5 minutes virtually if you don't need to like, you know, drive all the way here. That's totally fine. I do expect you to have questions throughout the process, so don't like hesitate to reach out if questions come up because I know you won't necessarily think of all the questions you have right now. So yeah, don't feel like you're bothering me or anything like that because you are not. This is what I'm here for. So any other questions? And I do want to help you. So I'm not like ignoring you. If you email me and I haven't responded to you, I want to help. It's just, the emails are getting a little bit buried right now in the abyss. So yeah, if you need a response quickly, just schedule a meeting with me or give me a call. And I am in my office a lot of the time, but sometimes I'm across campus at events or other meetings. And so sometimes I won't be able to answer. So then, you know, scheduling a meeting on SupportNet, I think is the surest way, I guess, to get in for a meeting with me and ask your questions. Any other questions today? Oh, they are demolishing these buildings.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a green space because those buildings haven't been used since the university purchased them, I guess. Like they've only used these 3 buildings here because those ones I think had like asbestos or something. So yeah, they were not usable unless we paid a lot of money to fix them up. And so I guess they have determined it's more affordable to just get rid of them. And yeah, we're going to have a green space. And then actually today, one of my coworkers and I, we have a meeting with someone from the foundation to see if maybe we could like raise money to build a pavilion or something outside to do events and things outside. So, yes. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm sure that would be a popular idea.
Space next to the UC now because the admissions building is gone.
Yes.
Like, why didn't they make that more parking? Do you know how many people want to park in that lot?
I know.
It's so small and everyone.
That's true. I mean, they just finished demolishing that like the week before classes started, so maybe they just ran out of time. So maybe they have, I don't know what their plans are in the future, but yeah. Oh, hey, Trinae, how are you? Oh, that's okay.
Guys.
Oh, it's okay. Oh my gosh, well, I'm glad you're here. So maybe if you all have time still and you want to hear Trinae's experience abroad, are you cool to like jump right in or do you need a second? Okay. Yeah. Do you have like a presentation or like
pictures?
awesome. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can hop out whenever you need to.
Yeah.
It'll be quick, I think, just to talk about like your experience.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Trinae studied abroad in Germany last spring.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'll let you take the floor. Did you email me pictures or anything and I could pull them up? Oh, cool. You didn't?
It's okay.
Okay, that's
I can
okay.
show you.
Yeah, we have a small group. So
In March, the last 2 days of March, I flew out into Germany from my job. But like I went to Germany and it was like really cool. You just have to you also have to make sure your paperwork's right, make sure you have housing. And housing is like a big thing because Germans are kind of like more relaxed in their workplace. Just making sure you're emailing and communicating and making sure like, oh, I have a room. Okay, good, great. So you're looking for apartments because I had a friend who also went there, but he didn't like communicate with the school because he thought everything would be handled, even though he's traveled abroad before and like done study abroad. He thought that like everything would be like, I don't
Arranged for him. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. He assumed everything would be arranged for him, and you have to contact them because there is sometimes like a medium, like I say, medium level disconnect with like this office and their office because their office, though they get a lot of students and stuff, they get booked faster. And like when you go to other countries, sometimes the housing is not the same as the school.
Yes.
And so the housing for your school is like right on campus, but the housing department is run by the state, and your school is still technically run by the state, but it's entirely a different administrative like work because German bureaucracy.
Right.
But like, well, I got to meet so many new people. I have like a bunch of friends from like Tunisia, France. I have a friend from Venezuela. Just a bunch of people. I mean, like one of my teachers was Venezuelan, but teaching in a German school English classes. So it was really cool. And if you speak German, it's even like cool because you can take like their own classes if you speak it well enough, I guess. But you can take German course and it'll like transfer in as like international like study credit for whatever you're doing. Because not all of them have, I think actually all the degrees have like international aspect. We have to take like a language course or something regarding diversity or international stuff. But that's like a small thing because it's the world that we live in.
Right.
But I met like tons. It was really fun. So like these are my friends on like the last days that I was there. We were like sitting at the benches and so right in front of where I live. That's my friend Gabby and that's my friend Suha. Suha's from Tunisia, Gabby's from Venezuela. They're the only ones who like were like available at the time before I left. And these are my friends Lucy, Leia, and Emily. They're from France and Tunisia. And so they came from a different school as well. So study abroad in Germany. So I think that that's cool. You get to meet other study abroad students. And a lot of the students there come from Brazil as well. And there's like a castle. Like it's really cool. It just depends on where you're going. Germany, there's pretty much castles like, at least in the state that I was in, and pretty much like every city, there's like a really old castle or like historical building. Like we have a place where like Martin Luther like stayed when he was hiding from the Catholics. And these are my friends. They're from Brazil and Morocco. And this photo, we went to the pool. So it's just fun. I think it's a good experience to have because you get to like see like some of the cultural disconnects, just like communicating with your friends and stuff. Because like my friends all spoke English because they were going to Germany, but most countries in Europe have like a English requirement if you're a study abroad student because it's like the more international language because colonization and all that. And so my friends have to take like an English language thing to get into graduate school. So while they were in Germany, they were studying English, and so we would like talk and try to get them to like perfect their pronunciation of words. It was crazy, but it was fun. James is calling me again, but I'll answer him in a minute.
Dr. Kalba or
Dr. Cole.
okay.
It was like a giant party. They like the party guys. Like I mean, they like to be not just Germans, like Europeans love to like go clubbing. Their clubs close at 6 a.m.
Oh wow.
So like while everyone else is like America, it's like you close at like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
In Germany, when they start a party, the party starts at like 10 o'clock and it goes to like 6 in the morning.
When I was a student, I had friends here that were international students, and they were always complaining about how early our bars closed. They're like, it's like 2 a.m. Like I'm ready for bed. Like
this was like 0.5, I think like miles from where I lived. There's like a castle there, and it's like really pretty. And I went up there at 5 a.m. one time for like a walk because I was on the phone with my cousins because time difference and stuff. So like it was really awesome. And you get to like see like they performed, like they had like international choir, and then they had like all the international students like sing and stuff at like the concert, and that was the party stage, guys. And it was right in front of where I lived, and it was crazy. But it was like it's a good time, and it's nice knowing people in different places because then like if you ever want to travel back to Europe, I can contact my friends, see if I can go stay at their dorm while they're studying still or at their home. Like it's good to have people, and it's just fun. That's
awesome.
That's my my 5 minutes.
That was perfect. Did you make any friends from Germany, like German friends, or mostly
I-
other international?
Okay,
friends?
to be fair, I did make like 1 or 2 German friends, but like German students, first of all, there's not a lot of them at that school.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
no, like
you
three. I think
couldn't find them anyway.
I think it's like 3 at that school. Like there's like 5,000 people who go to that school because they take the classes online, and sometimes they don't even live there.
Oh, right. So a lot of the
So,
German students are commuters.
From Hamburg just to take the exam, the final exam for that week. And they just like booked a hotel. Like they lived in Hamburg and they were taking all their courses at this school. And so
Wow.
it's like a month where you take exams. And so you just come back and forth because you
Yeah.
just pay for $57 and you can go anywhere in Germany.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
will be really common for, yeah, I mean, where all of you are going. I mean, yeah, these two are going to Europe, to the UK, both of them, and then Grace is
You
going
guys
to
are going
Japan.
to Lancaster?